Welcome back, learners, to our interesting course based on the theme Rudimentary Principles and Practices of Managerial Economics. I am Dr. Shantanu Saurabh, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, DAV PG College, Banaras Hindu University. Till Module 8, you have learnt about the cost analysis. Now, I welcome you in Module 9, lecture number 41, where we'll be covering revenue analysis and theory of profit. In this lecture, we'll be basically covering the three topics will be revenue and its role, types of revenue, and relationship between TR, AR, and MR. So one by one, we'll be trying to learn these three topics. So the first topic, that is revenue and its role. It is crucial to understand or grasp the fundamentals of revenue, as revenue is one of the most important, you can say, element for any business or firm to exist and grow. Revenue is the fundamental thing in order to comprehend market and economic activity, which means revenue is a very important dimension. A core of microeconomics is revenue analysis, which focuses on how businesses makes money through sales, which you need to understand that in revenue analysis, the intention is to understand how any firm or business will make money with the help of sales. So any producer's primary or objective goal is to maximize profit. As you remember, in the first lecture, we have talked about the concept of maximum profit. And for that maximum profit, revenue plays a very important role. If costs are kept to minimum, which means if the cost is minimized and sales volume is maximized, maximum profit can be achieved. I am repeating, this is a very important point, that if in the firm the cost can be minimized and the sales volume can be maximized, automatically the firm will be generating good amount of profit. The money received from regular business activities, routine activities, mostly from sale of goods and services, is referred as revenue, which means the money received from regular business activities, especially from the sale of the goods and services in which the product is dealing or service is dealing, is termed as revenue. In simple words, in layman's word, revenue is the money a business makes by selling its product to the consumers or customers. So a definition in words of Dooley: the revenue of a firm is its sales receipt or money receipt from the sale of an product. Means whatever they receive, the money they receive from sale of any product can be termed as revenue. In simple words, the sale proceeds that any specific firm gets from the sale of its respective product is called as revenue, which means the sale proceeds or the return they get from the sale of any respective product is termed as revenue. Now, the concept of revenue is different from the concept of profit. In this week, we will be focusing on both these elements. In the starting point, we will be talking about revenue. If this week, we will be talking about profit and profit theories also. But here you need to understand that revenue is different from the concept of profit. Both are having difference. In simple words, profit is equal to revenue minus cost, which you need to remember that profit in simple words is revenue, whatever you are getting minus the cost, the expenditures you have made. So profit is equal to revenue minus cost. On the other hand, this revenue comes from cost plus profit, which means the revenue formula is cost plus profit. To simplify it, I am making you understand this simple concept once again. Whenever anyone asks what is the meaning of profit, profit is ascertained by revenue minus cost, whatever revenue you have received minus the expenditures you have made. And when anyone asks what is the revenue you have earned, so revenue is cost plus profit. So that was the gist of what revenue is, and then I made you understand that there is difference between the term revenue and profit. And in this week, we will be discussing both these concepts. In the first part, we'll be talking about revenue, and in the later part, we'll be talking about profit and theories of profit. Now, as you are able to see on the screen, the types of revenue. What are the different types of revenue which are involved in any firm, or the revenue which the firms can generate? You are able to see on the screen there are basically three kinds of revenue. The first one being marginal revenue, average revenue, and total revenue. So, one by one we will be discussing all these three types in detail. Now, total revenue. As you are able to see, the word total is involved with revenue. So, that gives you an idea what total revenue basically means. The total revenue, it refers to the total amount of revenue that the firms generate from the sale of its product, which means whatever sales they have done. Total revenue is the multiplication of price and the total quantity sold, which means whatever is the price of the commodity multiplied by total quantity of commodity being sold. So, we can say total revenue depends on the number of units sold and the price of output, which means these two are the most important determinants on which total revenue is based. According to Dooley, the revenue is the sum of all sales, receipts or income of a firm, which means the sales, the receipts and income of a firm. The formula for calculating total revenue, as you are able to see, is price per unit into total quantity sold, which can be represented into P into Q. A firm sells 500 units of commodity at the rate of rupees 10, calculate TR. So, as you are aware, the formula is P into Q. P, as you are able to see, the price is 10 rupees here and the quantity sold is 500 units, which gives 10 into 500, that is rupees 5,000. So, 5,000 is the TR here. So, TR basically means here that the total quantity sold and in consideration with the price per unit of any respective product. Average revenue. The average revenue is defined as the income generated by a company for each unit of products sold. The meaning you can derive from the word here, average. The total we have attained, now we are talking of the average revenue. It is defined as income generated by any specific firm or company for each unit of product sold. Average revenue is calculated by dividing the total revenue, which we have talked in the last slide, by total quantity sold, which means dividing the total revenue by total quantity sold. Hence, average revenue is the revenue of the firm which it earns per unit of output being sold. I am repeating, this is a very important point to be understood, that average revenue is the revenue which the firm earns per unit of output sold here. Here we are talking of per unit of output. In the definition according to Penguin Dictionary of Economics, average revenue is total revenue received from sale of a given number of units of output divided by that number of units. So, the formula for calculating AR is given below, which means the formula is total revenue divided by total quantity being sold. The formula, as you are able to see on the screen, AR is equal to total revenue upon total quantity of the product being sold. Now, we will be talking of the term, very important term, that is marginal revenue. We have talked about total revenue, then we talked about average revenue, now we are moving to marginal revenue. The marginal revenue refers to extra income generated from sale of an additional unit of product. This additional unit is the summary of this marginal revenue. It tries to calculate the extra income being generated from sale of an extra unit. It signifies the supplementary revenue obtained by the seller when selling one more unit of output. If you are selling 10 units and then you are selling the 11th unit, the difference between 10th and 11th unit will be the marginal revenue, which means one more unit is contributed. Therefore, marginal revenue is the additional revenue obtained by selling one more unit. I hope this is making sense to all of you. Now, according to Penguin Dictionary of Economics, marginal revenue is the change in total revenue, which results from changing output sold by a unit, which means whatever marginal revenue is the change in TR. We are talking here of TR. Why? The factor is that from changing output being sold by an unit. Now, we will be talking of the formula for calculation of MR. The formula here is that MR is equal to change in total revenue, which is represented by the word delta, change in total revenue, upon change in total units, change in units sold, which can be represented by the word delta Q. So, the formula is MR is equal to delta TR upon delta Q, which means change in total revenue upon change in the units being sold. Marginal revenue of n units can be calculated in this following shape: total revenue TR of n units minus total revenue TR of n minus 1, as you are able to see on the screen, n and n minus 1. So, formula is TRn minus TRn minus 1, which means the additional unit you have produced and the revenue you are generating from that additional unit is marginal revenue. So, before moving forward, I have talked about three important terms. The first was total revenue. It is the combination of all the revenues which the firm generates. Then I talked with you the average revenue, as you are able to see. Here we talked about the average income generated by each unit of the product sold. The formula is you are able to see, is TR by Q. And then finally we talked about marginal revenue, which means the income generated by sale of an additional unit of a product. So, we have discussed three important elements: total revenue, average revenue and marginal revenue. Now, you are able to see on the screen a table showing TR, that is total revenue, AR, that is average revenue, and MR, which is marginal revenue. Now, I will be trying to make you understand the relation between TR, AR and MR. As you are able to see on the leftmost corner, the quantity being sold is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. As you are able to see on the next column, the price, which is gradually reducing: 20, 18, 16, 14, 12, 10, 8, 6. The price is gradually decreasing. Now, we are talking of the total revenue. I have talked about this. The total revenue is based on the concept formula of price into quantity. Now, you are able to see quantity, one quantity, in the price is 20. So, 1 into 20 is 20. The next, you are able to see quantity is 2 and price is 18, that gives you 36. When you are multiplying here, it gives you 36. 16 into 3 is 48, 14 into 4 is 56, 15 into 5 is 60, 10 into 6 is 60, 7 into 8 is 56 and 8 into 6 is 48. Now, an important thing which you need to understand about the nature of TR. As you are able to see, gradually the TR is increasing from 20 to 36, 36 to 48, 48 to 56, 56 to 60. Then it becomes constant, and then gradually you are able to see the TR here is decreasing. Again, here you are able to see it is decreasing gradually. Initially it was increasing till this point, then it became constant, and then it is decreasing. So, that is the nature of total revenue. So, TR in the initial phase it was increasing, it becomes constant and it decreases. Now, we talk about AR, that is average revenue. The formula for AR is total revenue upon quantity. So, as you are able to see here, the total revenue in the first one column is 20 and quantity is 20. So, AR is 20. The second is TR is 36 and quantity is 2. So, AR is 18. Same way 16, 14, 12, 10, 8 and 6. Now, the feature of AR, as you are able to see here, is that it is gradually decreasing. The AR is falling from 20 to 18, 18 to 16, 14, 12, 10, 8, 6. Now, we talk about marginal revenue. Marginal revenue formula you are already aware, I have talked about this, that is 20 minus 0, there was no revenue before this. The first marginal revenue is 20. Now, the next is 36 minus 20, as you are able to see on the screen. 36 minus 20, which gives 16. Next is 48 minus 36, as you are able to see the difference between the two consecutive units, that gives 12. Next is 56 minus 48, as you are able to see, that gives 8. 60 minus 56 here, which gives 4. 60 minus 60 here, which gives 0. And then 56 minus 60 here, which gives minus 4, and 48 minus 56, again it gives minus 8. Now, important point to be considered here is that the marginal revenue is also falling. Gradually it becomes 0 here, and then it goes to negative. In the starting phase it was decreasing here till this point, then it becomes 0 here, and then it goes to negative. So I am repeating this. In total revenue, initially it increased, then it became constant, and then it decreased. The average revenue is falling. On the other hand, the marginal revenue is also falling. It goes to the point of 0, and then it becomes negative. I hope this table must have given you an idea of the relationship between TR, AR and MR. Now, the above column we have discussed table have 5 columns, as we have discussed, in which price, quantity, TR, MR is shown. The quantity is increasing from 1 to 8th unit, as the price is decreasing from 20 to 60, as you have seen. The total revenue is increasing till 5th unit of quantity. Total revenue is increasing till 5th unit, till here. It is increasing from here to here. The TR is increasing, remains constant at 6th unit of quantity. Thereafter it decreases from the 7th unit. Remains constant here, and then it decreases here from the 7th unit, the TR. The average revenue is constantly falling with every increase in the quantity being sold. The same, the average revenue is falling, as you are able to see. From the first unit itself, the marginal revenue falls, reaches to 0 at 6th unit, where total revenue is constant. Thereafter, marginal revenue becomes negative from the 7th unit, when total revenue starts falling, which I have already discussed with you, that initially it goes to this point 4, then it becomes 0, and then it becomes in negative sense. So that was the relation between TR, AR and MR. Now you are able to see on the screen the diagram representing TR, AR and MR based on the table we have discussed. The same you are able to see here. With this represents the TR here. This line here represents the AR, and here this green line you are able to see is the MR. As you are able to see, the TR has increased till here, then it becomes constant here, and then it starts decreasing. On the other hand, the AR is decreasing, you are able to see here, and in the third part the MR is also decreasing, becomes 0 here, and then becomes negative. So that is the diagrammatic representation of TR, AR and MR. So I will explain you with the help of this detailed information also. The diagram represents on x axis the quantity of output is shown, whereas on the y axis the TR, AR and MR is shown, as we have discussed. The price per unit is not fixed, it is changing. As quantity of output increases, the TR also increases, as TR is the quantity equal to quantity multiplied with price per unit. So the price is not fixed, and as the quantity of output is increasing, the TR is also increasing. The total revenue from unit 1 to 8 is, you are able to see total revenue here till this point. The TR curve first increases up to 5th unit, that is 60, then becomes constant here, and from the 6th unit, and thereafter it starts declining. I am showing you this. The TR curve increases, becomes here constant, and then starts decreasing. The AR curve from 1st to 8 is 20, 18, 16, 14, 12, 10, 8, 6 respectively. This is clearly visible in the graph that AR curve is continuously declining. It is on the negative trend. You are able to see here the AR curve here, the AR curve you are able to see is continuously declining here. The AR curve is continuously declining but is above MR curve, as you are able to see here. AR is declining but it is always above the MR curve. The MR curve is below the AR curve, as you have seen, and its value is from 1 to 8 is 20, 16, 12, 8, 4, 0, minus 4, minus 8. In the initial unit, the MR curve is positive and falling, then reaches to 0 and then becomes negative. So, as you are able to see, the MR curve gradually it decreases, comes to 0 here and then becomes negative. In the initial units, the MR curve is positive, falling, then reaches to 0 and then after becomes negative. We have discussed this as shown in the graph. MR is positive till 5th unit, then 6th unit is 0 and after 6th unit it becomes negative, that is minus 4 and minus 8. So, it is clear from the table and the graph that the firm is selling larger quantities at lower prices. This is important to be understood, that the firm is selling larger quantities at lower prices, which means if the price is less, you will be able to sell more, causing both AR and MR to decrease. Okay, I hope this is making sense to all of you. However, the decline in MR will be compared to the decline in AR, as you are able to see in the screen on the diagram. It must be emphasized that MR will be less than AR. You are able to see here MR is less than AR. Both AR and MR will exhibit a downward slope from left to right. You are able to see here downward slope from left to right. The MR curve will bisect the distance between AR curve and the y-axis equally. The decrease in AR may not necessarily follow a straight or linear path. It is not necessary that in AR the decrease may be following the path of linear path. If prices are decreasing as quantity sold increases, the AR may take a non-linear form also, which needs to be remembered, such as concave or convex towards the origin. So, I hope this diagrammatic representation must have given you a good idea about TR, AR and MR. Now, the relationship between various revenues, relationship between TR and MR. When the marginal revenue is positive, which needs to be remembered, the total revenue rises. You are able to see when marginal revenue is positive, here you are able to see the total revenue till here it is total revenue is till here it is rising. Second point, when the marginal revenue becomes 0, the TR becomes maximum and stays constant. When MR is 0 here at this, it becomes maximum and then becomes constant. And when the MR becomes negative, the total revenue starts falling. Here you are able to see when MR becomes 0, the TR here is starting to fall from this unit. So, I hope all these 3 points must be clear. That was the relationship between TR and MR. Now, the relationship between AR and MR. Both AR and MR are calculated from the total revenue. So, AR is equal to total revenue upon quantity. Both AR and MR are parallel to x-axis or horizontal to x-axis in perfect competition. We will be discussing this in later slides as AR is equal to MR. We have discussed both these points. Now, the third point, when AR and MR revenue both are falling, the marginal revenue falls at a greater rate than average revenue, which means when AR and MR both are falling, the marginal revenue, as you have seen in the diagram, falls at a greater rate as compared to the average revenue. You are able to see here the marginal revenue is falling at a greater rate as compared to the AR. Last point, when average revenue increases, marginal revenue increases at a greater speed. So, we have discussed 4 points that AR and MR both are calculated from TR. Second, both AR and MR are parallel to x-axis or horizontal to x-axis in perfect competition as AR is equal to MR. Third, when AR and MR both are falling, the marginal revenue is below and the marginal revenue falls at greater rate than average revenue. And fourth, when average revenue increases, the marginal revenue increases at a greater speed. In this presentation, we have covered basically 3 topics, as you remember: revenue and its role, types of revenue, and relationship between TR, AR and MR. I discussed the relevance of revenue with you. Then I discussed the difference between revenue and profit. The formula for profit was revenue minus cost, and the formula for revenue was cost plus profit. Then I discussed with you these 3 types of revenue, that was total revenue, average revenue and marginal revenue. I discussed with you the formula for total revenue was price into quantity being sold. Average revenue was TR by quantity being sold. And marginal revenue, we are able to see delta TR upon delta Q. Then we talked about the relationship between TR, AR and MR. You are able to see on the screen, we have discussed all these. Then I showed you the diagram of TR, AR and MR, the explanation of it, the relationship between TR and MR and AR and MR, which is very relevant and is of use for practical grounds. Even in the competitive exams, many times this question is being asked. So that's all for this presentation. In this presentation, I tried to give you a gist about different kind of revenue analysis, and the relationship between TR, AR and MR. I hope this content would be of good use for you, and that's all from my end. Thank you, and hope to see you in the upcoming lecture. Thank you.